Welcome back to episode 4 of my Road to Big Dogs series. Apologies if I sound all nasally. I'm a little bit sick at the moment, which is a bit of a pain in the ass, but what can you do? So, bench this week was 205 kilos for 2 sets of 4. Again, PBs. If you watched last week, I changed my grip a little bit back to my old grip. And I think it's definitely the right way to go. I mean, obviously, hitting the 200 for 6 last week was sick, but the 205s this week felt really easy. Long pauses on the last reps of both the sets. Looking forward to pushing these. We're going to be pushing sets of 4 for a few weeks. Hopefully, I can end up around 215 kilos for sets of 4, which would be a big PB. I think I've only really hit singles over about 210. I don't know if I've even doubled anything around that. So, looking forward to pushing it. So, nothing special about my warm-ups. Pretty much the same every single week. Up 20 kilos every set. Added the collars. Add the collars if I end on like an 05 or something, obviously. So, 165, 185, 205. I came into the session feeling pretty good. I'm still trying to make the bench, because I'm in my off season, harder. So my lower body is pretty much relaxed. There's no real leg drive, which is half the reason I'm actually benching in slides. I can't even push against the slides, otherwise they slip. So it's really just forcing me to use my upper body, which, like I said, in off season I like doing dumb little shit like that, just to make things a little harder. That way when I get leg drive back, it feels really good. As you can see, Marcus has no spatial awareness and decided to stand pretty much in front of the camera. Not that it ever bothers me, but you'll see these both of these sets move pretty well. So big pause like I normally do. After this I hit a set of 160 for 8, which is on screen now. Just some close grip work. I think we're going to start adding some of this back in just to get extra tricep work. So squats, I was pretty excited for this session. It's 5 kilos under my best triple, but for a lot more volume. So my best triple is 320 bare knees, obviously, and this session was 315 for 3x3. I'm filming from this angle just for my warm-ups, just to keep me a bit more honest with depth. It's usually when I have a belt on and I'm getting used to wearing a belt again that sometimes I struggle to just feel where depth is. As I get into the hole, everything feels tight, and sometimes I lose sight of where parallel is and where below parallel is. So usual plate jumps, just up 50 kilos every set, then jumped from 280 to the 315. 3x3, really happy with how it moved. I do get to hit a PB triple for weight next week. I'm assuming it's 330 kilos for a triple. I would like to see if I could do maybe 2 sets. If it's feeling really good, a 3rd set, which we'll see how it's moving first. But if I could do more than 1 set at 330, I'll be really happy with that. And then I think after that 330, we're on to just some decent singles, 340, 350, 360, maybe 365. We'll just have to see how things are moving. I would like an 800 pound bare knee squat, but I'll also take slightly under. It's not really going to make a difference. It's all just to help out my wrap squat anyway, and if I squat 360 or 365, that's not really gonna matter. The plan is for the big wrap squat. So I was actually talking to a mate the other day that was asking me about my squats, and he asked why I have such a wide stance. Now, this is actually how I would squat if I'm in wraps. I like and much prefer the wider stance when I'm in wraps. I find it easier to hit depth. I feel a bit more explosive, all that sort of stuff. But realistically, it's not the best for bare knees, my bare knees squatting. Like realistically, I know that I can move my feet in a little bit closer and I could make these faster, but it means that when I go back to wrap squatting starts to feel foreign and I've got to get used to the movement again. Where if I just squat in the exact same way I'm in wraps, yeah, technically my bare knee stuff isn't as fast, but I don't really need it to be fast. I just need it to be solid, good technique, so that when I jump back into wraps, it feels incredible. I did it for the last off season, leading into my last prep, and all my wrap squats just from the get-go felt amazing. So just keeping up with the same sort of stuff. Overhead press and incline bench. So I prepared for this session really well in terms of food. Pretty average in terms of hydration. Usually I'm dialed in with my hydration. It didn't really affect me during my overheads, but when I get to incline, my hamstring of all things started to cramp. But yeah, so with the overhead press, we've got a top set of 155 kilos for a double, so up 5 kilos from last week. Lost a rep. I think next week we'll jump to 160, which is my current max. But I think that if this session is anything to go by, that 160 is going to move very fast. I think at the moment my max is sitting between 170 and 180. I'm hoping it's closer towards, the full plate mark, the 180. So also trying a bit of a new warm-up sort of strategy. I used to just jump 10 kilos, but as the weights are getting heavier, I just can't be bothered doing that many sets to get to my top set. So I just started jumping in 20 kilo warm-up sets. So that was 105, jumped to 125, hit 145 as a last, and then just jumped the last 10 kilos. My joints in that actually felt almost better doing it this way. Maybe just a little bit fresher, I guess, but yeah, not too sure. But this 145 has felt as easy as it ever has, and then yeah, you'll see the top set moves just as well. Incline bench now. I have pretty much got permission from the coach to just do 2 sort of AMRAPs with 200 kilos just to see how I'd go. 8 months ago, I hit 200 kilos for, granted, a 5-second sort of pause. But 8 months ago, I hit it for a single, and that was the most I've ever done on an incline. So I'm excited that this time around we're going to push it a bit harder. The goal for tonight's session was just hit anywhere between 4 to 6 reps on the incline at 200 kilos. I knew that 6 was probably a bit of a stretch. I felt like if I couldn't necessarily hit that comfortable and a bit more clean on flat bench, then doing it on incline was a bit harder. But I knew that if I pushed hard enough, I'd probably get 5, and that was sort of the number I set for both sets in my head. You'll actually see on the last rep, as I rack it, my leg kicks out because my hamstring cramped. I was tempted to go for that 6th rep. I just didn't think I'd be able to fight through a hamstring cramp as well as a pretty heavy last rep of an incline bench. onto the second set here. Just as good as the first. Really happy with it. I think we're going to be jumping 10 kilos next week, so 210. Not sure the numbers we're going to hit, maybe just a good triple. But after that, the following week, which actually falls on my birthday, I think we're going to try the 5-plate incline bench, so 220. I'm hoping that that moves well enough that I can ask to go a little bit heavier, but we'll see. Now onto deadlifts. So coming into this session, I was supposed to do 300 kilos for a set of 5. Still on a stiff bar, but obviously I've got a belt. But I had such a bad headache that even getting down to the bar was a bit of a struggle. Not wanting to throw away sort of an opportunity to continue to work on my deadlift technique, I opted to just do 300 for a bunch of singles. Just really trying to optimize my technique, trying to feel things out, see what little minor changes I can make to hopefully try and improve it and feel a bit better. The main things I did was just feet width and then belt placement as well. But yeah, getting down to the bar even with a belt with a massive headache is quite a struggle. I'm sure if you've done it before, you'll know that it just fucking sucks. I ended up making the mistake of sort of staying down at the bar in the bottom position for a little bit too long. On I think my second rep at 300 kilos. So the rep itself is kind of dog shit. And pretty much from the second I pulled it off the floor, I felt like I was about to pass out. So you'll watch, it's just a fucking horrible rep. But the first rep, this is the first single at 300 kilos. This one actually felt not too bad. I definitely would have struggled to do reps tonight because even when I got to the top of this one, my head felt like it was going to explode. But that one was nice and smooth, no real problems with that one. Going on to my second here, this is the one you can see I'm just fucking around a little bit too much at the bottom. And by the time I got any sort of tension, I felt like I was going to pass out. So you can see I quickly tried to just sing it and I just dropped it because I'm like, I don't want to pass out. So third rep, I just changed my feet placement just a little bit. Probably can't even tell. But again, a nice smooth single at 300 kilos. It's still pretty fast considering I felt like I didn't have much power off the floor because the brace wasn't that good or anything. This was probably my best single, I reckon, at least. It felt the best, moved really smooth. But pretty keen for next week to not feel like shit and hopefully go up again in some weight. Sorry for being nasally and sick, but thank you all for watching. Appreciate it.